I never really thought that I would ever spend money on a video game. $300, $300, $300, paid 20 AUK and 4,000 gold certs. I spent over $10,000. How many of y'all have spent money on Arknights? Me. For me in particular, I've spent a lot of money in video games, guys. I think it has made me as an individual happy. Right now, I'm a goldfish. Okay, I buy the monthly card every month, but there was a time where I was a fucking disgusting whale. I was P6ing everyone. It wasn't just the potentials that I was swiping for. I was refreshing over 30 times every single day, and refreshing is not cheap, guys. A $100 purchase gives you what, 186 OP, or I think around that? 180-ish OP, right? And for someone to go through 30 OP of refreshing per day, you're spending almost $100 purely on refreshing per week. And since then, I think I had a lot of reasons why I stopped whaling. It really came down to something like obsession, compulsive gambling disorder. I think that's something that I really experienced in 2021. It was incredibly bad on my mental health. But I want to talk about the kind of games that I grew up with. Before Arknights, I played a ton of video games. Gaming was one of the most important things in my life. It was something that I was able to talk with my brother a lot. It was something I shared with my friends. I was a huge Nintendo fan growing up. I played Super Smash Bros. I played Xenoblade Chronicles. That was one of my favorite franchises. Breath of the Wild, Pokemon. I also played a lot of competitive games in the later half of my life. So League of Legends, I played that for many years. Played Call of Duty, Apex Legends as well. And I think by far, I've mentioned this a few times, my favorite video game in my entire life is Mabinogi. It's an MMORPG developed by Nexon. Played MapleStory as well, but Mabinogi was the one that hit home for over 10 years. The thing here is that even though I grew up with video games, I never really thought that I would ever spend money on a video game. For example, like in middle school and high school, I wasn't making any money, obviously, and I didn't think it was right to spend my parents' money on a video game. If you know Nexon games, they actually had this like survey system where the more surveys you filled out, you can get like 10 cents per survey, 10 cents in Nexon points. And I would spend fucking hours on end filling out those surveys. Getting spam mail sent to my inbox. Back then, it goes to show that I was mostly free to play. I think a lot of things changed when I went to college and I got a part-time job. During that time, guys, I was incredibly addicted to a popular game all of y'all know called League of Legends. Do y'all know League of Legends? How many of y'all still play League? And League of Legends, if y'all know, is one of the premier games that popularized the concept of skins, the pure form of a microtransaction. And in League of Legends, there is this one type of skin called a prestige skin. It's basically the same thing as a limited operator in Arknights. Basically, you can't get it after the time has come up, essentially. I became very addicted to League of Legends. I was playing that game every single day, grinding the ranks. I really enjoyed it. It was something that I was always looking forward to after school. And at a certain point, I had made, a good amount of money from my part-time job. And I was like, hey, I want to buy some skins. And there was this one prestige skin called Prestige Akali. And that skin had run like, 8-9 months ago. So I just missed her. And I was like, wow, I won't ever be able to use this skin because I don't have that ability. It's a limited skin, right? But the thing about League of Legends skins, guys, is that there is actually one way to guarantee that you get a limited skin. And that's by getting every fucking skin in the game through a gacha system, a loot box system, so that you can finally get one of those prestige skins. And you can probably imagine what happened next. I told myself, that's stupid. That's not gonna be cheap. Why would you ever do that? For a few days, I put it off. I continued playing League of Legends, but the thought of it kept banging on the back of my head. The thought of being able to use that skin. I knew that I was going crazy. But I can't really put it into words. Something at the back of my head was was telling me that I needed it, guys. That I needed something that I wanted, that I had money at that point in time that I could be spending on anything else. But I wanted it. I didn't know what that emotion was, but I really wanted that skin. So I fucking did it. That experience was one of the most adrenaline-inducing, one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever been in my entire life. Guys, League of Legends has this kind of system where you can only spend like $200 to $300 per day. And I charted it out. I created this Excel sheet where I would say each day I would spend $300. I would reroll all these skins. And boom, every single day, $300, $300, $300, $300. And 2 weeks later, I owned 1,200 skins. And I finally got it. Prestige Akali. It was one of the last skins, and I remember sitting there. I shut off the game immediately. I couldn't even look at anyone. I didn't tell a single person. And honestly, I didn't tell a single person for months. And at the very end of that, guys, the total calculated cost to get every single skin was $3,300. What? What the fuck? For about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I was fucking guilty. There were days where I couldn't even play on my account. And when I play with my friends, I would purposely use the default skin so they don't know that I have the better skin. They don't know I have every single fucking skin. Because I just felt so delusional. But guys, to be honest, what scared me even more was after those 2 to 3 weeks of sulking, I felt nothing. I felt absolutely nothing. Honestly, even today, that scares me. The fact that I could feel such immense emotion after doing something so reckless and then feeling nothing. The best case scenario after the deed is done is to realize how shitty of a decision you made and to never make it again. To fucking call up Riot Games and be like, hey, fucking take my account away, please refund me for those 2 weeks of spending and let me just go clean. Let me just forget about everything and live a better life. I think that was the better choice, but I didn't do that. I fucking let it fester until it became nothing, until I felt absolutely nothing. And guys, it only gets worse from there. For the rest of college, I continued to play video games. What's crazy is I quit League of Legends. I quit League of Legends probably a month after that happened. Bruh. And then I played Apex Legends. I bought skins. I spent over $500. Holy shit. And then I played Call of Duty. The new Call of Duty. I don't know, from 2 years ago. I don't fucking know. And I bought skins. And I spent over $300. What the fuck? And then Animal Crossing. Like, what the fuck? What can go wrong with Animal Crossing? That game doesn't even have microtransactions. I fucking contacted hackers on eBay. What? So I can pay money to grab a Raymond. Do you know who Raymond is? The funny cat. And I paid fucking $20 for that shit. And, what the fuck? So guys, I knew that I was being stupid, but let's step back for a second. I think it's very difficult to characterize what I was doing with my money. In my life, when I think about what was driving me to go forward and continue living, it was motivation, right? You need motivation to do something. Everyone is bound to something in their life. You know, growing up, some of that can be tied to making your parents proud, right? Some of that can be understanding that your future is important. And for me in particular, I had a very loving family, guys. I love my family. I think they did everything right to raise me, and I'm incredibly thankful. But I think as an individual for myself, I didn't do what was right. And that was because a lot of my happiness was tied to video games. And some people might say that, you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, video games are fun. It's the form of entertainment that a lot of people enjoy nowadays. They're only becoming more popular every single year. Why is that a bad thing, right? And I think for me, I attach so much of my happiness to video games. really just thinking back on my whole life. Why did I try so hard on tests at school? Why did I care so much about my GPA? Why did I care about what college I went to? A lot of that really came down to, looking forward to the next day of just playing good video games, having, for example, at that point, the money to buy all these cool microtransactions. For some reason, that empowered me in such a strange way. But what made it worse? In 2020, I graduated from college. I was starting a job that honestly I worked very hard to get, and I was incredibly excited about. But I wanted to find a game that I can play a minimal amount of hours each day and still feel satisfaction. And that's when I found gacha games. I think a lot of people say that everything in this world happens for a reason, and someone like me, who was incredibly compulsive, who had a very bad spending regimen, someone who did not have the self-control, should have never put themselves in a position to meet gacha games. I've said this before. My first gacha game was not Arknights. I downloaded Genshin Impact 3rd. I only played that game for about 3 days. But guys, I didn't leave unscathed. I fucking came out of the game spending fucking $300. Guys, I had spent $300. I had just started. So for some reason, Honkai had ripped my wallet. It had penetrated. It had cummed on. What? God damn it. I just wanted Durandal. Do y'all know who Durandal was? Let me show y'all. Durandal. This character had just released, and I was like, holy sheesh. She is fucking hot. Actually, what I did was I spent $300, and then I realized that it actually probably cost closer to $500, and I was like, holy fuck, this game is fucking predatory, so I uninstalled. But I wanted to find another game. This was my first step into gacha gaming. I kept looking. I looked for the best gacha game at that time, and it was without a doubt that I would find Arknights. It was fate, guys. It was fate. So I started playing Arknights. And I told myself this time that I would be free to play. I was playing the game. It was fun. I was watching Kyostin V every day. Because, I fucking sucked. It was very fun. Watching Kyostin V and Ekojin. Fucking clearing all the stages with my 3 stars and 4 stars. And then the Blaze banner got announced. Who the fuck? I was like, Jesus, this will change everything. All these CN dogs, they're saying Blaze is meta. Oh my god, Tectone is pulling for P6 Blaze. Holy shit, Zeals is pulling for P6 Blaze. I needed Blaze P6 because everyone was doing it. And at that point in time, I had started working. I was getting my first full-time paycheck. I swiped $300. I would be lucky. I said I would be lucky. I fucking got like 2 off banners. Bruh. Oh my god, it's like 300 at a time. And it was not stopping, guys. The credit card was getting rejected. But I kept calling my credit card to get it unrejected. And $1,200 later, it was over. I got the P6 Blaze. But for what? But for what? I had no one to show it to. I probably went to Akron's Discord and posted like, hey guys, I fucking spent $1,200 and got Blaze P6. At the very end of the day, it did make me feel good. My passion was Arknights, guys. And I was using the money that I earned through hard work to fuel that passion. It was the most copium that I'd ever taken in, that I ever sniffed. Wait, do you sniff copium? But guys, that wasn't my first gig. That wasn't my second gig. I had already spent so much money on League of Legends. I had spent money on every single game with microtransactions, so I wasn't afraid. Guys, I would just tell myself, make more money so you can spend more money. So the next banner came, the fucking Nyan banner, I think, and I swiped P6 on that bullshit. I don't know why. Because if y'all understand, guys, getting P6 Nan meant getting P20 Ock. I had like P20 Ock and 4,000 gold certs, and I spent everything on resources, M3. I was very delusional, and it really only got worse, okay? I wasn't wailing for the utility of the character. I wasn't wailing because I thought that I would have more fun in the game with better operators. I was wailing because it was a coping mechanism. To be very honest with y'all, even though I was working like a decent job that was paying my bills and such, it was not making me happy. I'm not gonna dox what job I had, but it was a terrible job that very much coerced the employees to just work very long hours, be on call throughout the nights. There are a lot of people out there that have those kind of jobs that play gacha games, and these games very much act as their copium. We always talk about these big spenders, guys, people that have funded the anime and Arknights Enfield. As much as we can be grateful as players, we don't really know what they're going through. So I would feel very bad if they're actually going through a very similar experience that I did, where I fucking hated my job, but it was paying the bills, and I was basically coping by playing these games and spending money in these games to make me happy. When Genshin Impact came out, it was no different. I spent over $10,000! I spent way more on Genshin than I ever did throughout every single game, guys. When I first spent that $3,000 on League, I thought that I'd done the worst thing in the world, but spending $10,000 on Genshin made me really realize. I think that was my final straw. Spending money, that much money on the game, didn't actually give me happiness because I hated life at that point. I was losing a lot of my real-life friends because I was working all the time. I felt like I wasn't doing anything productive with my life, and a lot of people may only spend about $10 and they realize how bad it feels and they never do it again. But for me, I didn't fucking do that. I feel like just looking back at how much I spent on video games in the past and how complacent I got, it took me $10,000 in Genshin to finally realize that I had an issue, to finally realize that things needed to be changed. I think one of the hardest things I've ever been through was quitting Genshin. That was one of the hardest things ever, because it wasn't about quitting an experience. It was the fact that I was basically throwing that $10,000 away. I knew that MiHoYo was predatory, guys. And really, any gacha game, any gaming company that is deploying a free-to-play game with these microtransactions, they will be predatory to an extent. That's how they make money, guys. It's the unfortunate fact in the world. But I think more importantly, I realized that that wasn't the only issue. I was the issue. I was lacking motivation in my life, elsewhere in my life, to keep me going. I was so used to living a particular way, for thinking a particular way. And I'll say that, guys, I got lucky. In May of 2021, I discovered something that filled the space in my head, that kept me going, guys. And that was streaming. I don't think I had felt that kind of motivation for a long time. Something to look forward to. I stopped wailing because I no longer needed it for my mental health. I'm now able to direct that motivation elsewhere. You know, I don't need to cope on spending massive heaps of money in a gacha game anymore. At the very end of the day, guys, everyone has their own reasons for wailing in Arknights. Just because this is my reason doesn't mean that you shouldn't or you should. I think some people genuinely enjoy Arknights. They enjoy leveling up the operators, they enjoy the gameplay, and maybe they actually enjoy just funding the game. You know, maybe that is the case for a lot of whales, but that wasn't it for me, guys. I really hope that all of y'all never experience something as bad as I did, and if you have, hopefully you're able to stop very soon. And that's about it, guys. I was able to escape because I found other things that eventually motivated me, and that is the reason why I stopped wailing in Arknights.